Gemini.
Hello Gemini, this is your forecast for May 2014, and we have a big month. And just like last month, April, a lot of transformation taking place. And if you're listening to this forecast early, you are probably already in the beginning of that big transformation there from mid-April onwards. And it is going to take us straight through the month of May too, before this big cross, the Grand Cross, is going to start loosening up. So as we enter into May, well, we're in a hangover phase, okay, because we're still in it, so to speak. And the areas where you are going to be transforming the most, Gemini, it's between your 11th, your 8th, your 2nd, and your 5th house. And what does that mean? Well, 2nd house is your money. You might see how your money is transforming here, and Jupiter's wanting to expand this area. So this is all good. We want these things to happen that are happening right now because they're shunting us straight off into a new realm, okay? But we can't get there unless something is giving us a rocket booster, and this is what the squares and oppositions are doing. So we want to trust the process, okay? Even though it's going to be a little bit of a bumpy ride here with Uranus and Pluto, and it's like those tectonic plates, you know, it's like they can build friction for so long, and then phew, something gives. Even Mother Earth is going through this transformation right now, so we are seeing little earthquakes here and there in Chile and Greece and Honshu, and yes, we might even see a little volcanic activity here before we're done with May, just because Pluto is involved, not just Uranus. So in our personal lives, that is also looking at your financial situation where Jupiter wants to expand. Something's got to give. And what is going to give? Well, it's self-expression. You know, it's like this energy now is so ready for you to burst, to come forward, to come out with, and not hold back. You're so creative, Gemini. And you might have been struggling to get to that position that you want. You know, maybe you've had to climb here and work your way through up to the top. You know, what feels fair, what isn't fair. Well, Mars is your drive and your ambition, and it is in the house of self-expression, of creativity, and personal projects, for example, too. And so it's like I can see how you've been expending so much drive to get here where you're at, and you're asking the universe, you know, when are you going to arrive? Right? When? So we can thank the stars that you have Mars here. As much as it's like draining you a little bit from energy, it's also energizing you so you can make that push and move forward. See, because normally Mars takes 6 weeks through a sign. Well, it entered into Libra there in December. It's going to be here to the end of July, to July 25th. That's 8 months. So Mars is giving you ample time to build up all your resources, to bring together all your creativity. The 5th house is super creative. So I'm thinking you're loving having Mars here. And then you're getting the push and the oomph both from Pluto and Jupiter, and then the opposition from Mars, which is helping you actually push that camel through the needle's eye. And we know that isn't easy, but this is in fact what you're doing, Gemini. And if anybody could do it and get around it, that's you, because you have such an incredible way of communicating and sharing and putting things together. You multitask so easily where other people can just envy you. So, you know, I'm not worried for you. I'm really thrilled to see what's going on here in your chart. Sure, you know, a lot of these aspects can create a little anxiety because, oh my God, what is happening, right? But you've asked for this. This is your hopes and dreams and wishes. Why? Well, this is because Uranus is in your 11th house for ruling exactly that, hopes, dreams, wishes. Groups and organizations, your friends, and you're liberating so much here and bringing forward so much more of yourself than in the past. And you will come to see how these groups are going to become more and more important for you as you grow, as you expand, And as Uranus is going to be touring and finishing the journey in this house, which will still be a few years from now, but it is very much so very prominent. Jupiter too is trying to kind of like grow this area. So you might, out of the blue, come in touch with new people that think differently. Why? Because Uranus is in this house is having you attract people who are different from your old friends. They might represent a totally different paradigm of the way they think, their background, their past, their history, and you are just learning how to shapeshift with these new experiences. And then Pluto is also a very big factor here in shape-shifting you too, coming from the 8th house of intimacy, going deep down in here, you know, in all that privacy. And it's also how the money that you hold with, I could say perhaps these groups. Why? Because the aspect is coming from the 11th house to this money house of royalties and commissions. And that might be a little hard for you because, see, you're so geared, Pluto is geared towards success, even though if it's going to take time. And it's because Pluto is in Capricorn, right? So that gives you that long haul vision, staying, you know, true to your path. Pluto really being passionate here. Pluto rules passion. And it's like, I see how you're really wanting to move forward and push that boulder uphill, right? Knowing that once you get up there, it's going to be good and it's going to be big. And I would like to say, yes, it will be big for you when you find exactly that platform that you can work from. Because why? Jupiter is here, and Jupiter is in your personal house of income, your own income stream, and Jupiter is wanting to expand it. But then it's revenue from outside, which comes from whatever joint resources that you can collaborate with. So we got something. We got a lot of creativity, your Mars. We got the groups. We got the people coming into your life that are different, totally different from where you've been. And then we have the money houses. So can you see how this comes together for you? This is the paradigm that April and May both are trying to bring together for you. And then we have Venus just here the first few days of the month in your 10th house for career. So of course, Venus is what we love. You know, you've been all here, April, been able to kind of cruise along with Venus in the area. So you might have come across some great ideas, met a few great people, creative people. That's the Piscean aspect of you and them. But here already on 3rd, Venus is going to move into the 11th house. And it's going to start moving towards that Uranus, okay, that major square. It's going to trigger right here when they are conjunct. So that's going to bring some unexpected, surprising news. This is mid-month, which will be around the 15th. And as Venus and Uranus opens up with a big bang wham here, it is also going to unleash an opposition here to Mars, on the other hand, which is going to ricochet to Jupiter and Pluto. So you see, whatever you're feeling, going through, experiencing here in April, well, more of that coming into May. However, you see this as a positive, okay? Because it's like every once in a while throughout our human life, we have to shed. This is what you're doing. It's like a snake getting a new skin, or the crab, you know, changing shells. And for right now, you're also shedding so that the newborn skin on the inside, yes, it is a little sensitive to begin with, but oh my goodness, it is only because such great things are going to come into your life that you're going to be mastering. And you can't actually get there unless you're given the tools, and this shedding is a part of that. This sense of consciousness, the higher consciousness, your spiritual consciousness, is in a very, what shall I say, heightened state of awareness right now. And yes, if you allow yourself to worry, and it's easy to worry, not because you normally do, Gemini, I'd say, but it's easy to worry under these aspects because Mars is in Libra, and Libra says, well, what if I do this? But if I do this, what about that? Libra has a hard time making choices. And your direction right now, your ambitions, And goals, your Mars wanting to take charge, is going from here to there. So it's like pendulating this way. Sure, that can give you anxiety because normally you just know what you want and you act upon it. You're so quick, right? But not right now. But understand that Mars is being a little slow in these 8 months for your benefit. Nobody else's, but for your benefit. So that once you have gone back and forth, researched all of the above, then you will see that once Mars moves into Scorpio here on July 25th, well, we're having a totally different story altogether for you. That's when your day-to-day routine will settle down, settle in, and start going really at a rate of picking up speed and working deeply with those passions, those goals that you have. So right now it's more like we're firing up under the engine. Then we have Mercury moving into your sign, and it's also your ruler, so it's great to have your ruler in your sign. This will be on May 7th, and that will be into your first house. So here, April, you're pretty much fine-tuning a lot of creative thoughts, okay? So many of you have been brainstorming here. And as it moves into your first house, well, then I see communication is going to pick up. You're going to be expressing a whole lot more what your thoughts, what your ideas are. And Mercury here will also be in the same area where your new moon is going to be in your sign here, Gemini. Once a year do you get to experience having the new moon in your sign. It's a great place to have it. It is your personal month of the year to put down your wishes. And so until the birthday of next year. And so your intentions this year, what would that be? Anything first house related that has to do with your drive, your ambition, your personality, what it is you want to radiate, you know, out to the world. Being in the rising sign, it's how you come across to others. So you might ask yourself, how do I come across to others? You know, am I too much or too little this or that? You know, so give a little thought on that, and then see how you can grow this area the rest of the year, all on the subconscious level, because you put the intention there. We have Jupiter in your second house for income. So like I said earlier on, you're expanding this area, and it's going to get a lot of power boosters, both from Uranus, from Mars, but also then from Pluto wanting to transform this for you here. So this should be a very exciting month, especially when Jupiter here by the 24th, I believe, yes, when it has good talks to Saturn. This is a time where you can negotiate. I would hold back on any negotiations anytime from, say, the 10th through that, until the sun goes into your sign here on the 20th, just because we're going to have a lot of tricky little aspects here mid-month that might ricochet and bounce off of this grand square. So we want to lay low, but monitor what's going on between the 10th and the 20th, because it's like the light is on and then it's off. It's flickering. What seems to work one day is going to be challenged the next day, and then back again. So in any kind of intimate relationships, you will see that this may be true too, because Venus and Mars are going to be opposed. This is mid-month, and then, no, on the 11th, but then Venus is mid-month on the 15th, going to conjunct Uranus, which brings unexpected surprises, and it's still somewhat close to that opposition, okay? So we love Venus and Uranus when they're close because they can bring us the good unexpected, but when we have tricky energies around, and since Uranus is still somewhat in this grand square, I'm not too sure about that. So we want to kind of keep our eye on the 15th, give or take a couple of days before or after. Why? Because here on the 14th, we got that very same Venus squaring Pluto. That's not misunderstanding, but a disagreement, something not really coming together. And then comes this trigger-happy Venus, Uranus, Mars saying, well, you know, that I don't want it either, you know, and you might just throw something to the winds. So be a little careful. On the 18th, Venus is squaring Jupiter, so it still hasn't come together. So between the 14th and 18th especially, things are a little sensitive. So no big decisions at that time. Then after the 24th, you can kick back in. Saturn in your 6th house, Jupiter in your 2nd house. I'm seeing there's a truth, there's a balance, there's an understanding here that I think both parties can actually find out that are good. This will lead you straight through Mercury communication with Venus, so that feelings are a little bit healed now, straight from say the 20th through the 28th, where we're listening, and that is equally as important as talking. It's easy to talk, but listening is a virtue. Listening to your partner, whoever that may be, whether it's in a relationship or it is in a working relationship, it's important to listen. Then we have here at the very end of the month, Venus then moving into Taurus. And that will be your 12th house. So it's going to be able to relax just because it's been going through all these little storms earlier in the month, and it will be delightful. A great way to end the month, just where I see nearly to the point where you might just take yourself to a spa and relax, and you so deserve it. And then Mercury, your ruler, moving out of that 1st house into your 2nd house for money, your income, and starting to kind of think about how you can perfect it on its journey here over the coming month. We only get that journey once a year, so we want to pay attention to anytime any planet comes to our 2nd house, so we can, you know, shore up and secure that area. And then here, Gemini, well, we have the Sun trining Mars, and Mars being your energy. We know how you've been expending a lot of it here. You have the Sun coming in, and the Sun will be in your 1st house. And the 5th house is your house of creativity. You may now finally find that you can pick up, take time, and have fun. 5th house is all about joy, leisure time. And if you haven't had time to be creative, say you're writing or whatever it is you do when you love being creative, well, this is the time. And that is what next month will bring so much more to you. And I'm looking forward to do your June readings, just to see now when this grand square is loosening it up. And then, where has it dropped you? What came out of it? You know, that is the birth, right? So really exciting times. I wish you the best, and have a great month here in May. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't, so you can get your forecast next month. And also listen to your moon and your rising sign, Gemini. Okay, here's a thumbs up for May. Have a good one now. Bye-bye.